I've been itching to try a Betta fish tier list. We're diving straight into ranking these beauties from S-tier stunners to the ones that are in my mind a bit overbred. No specific order here, just pure unfiltered opinions from years of tank keeping experience. Get ready to agree, argue, and everything in between because we're settling the Betta debate once and for all. First, we have the Koi Betta. I know, it's got the looks, like seriously, knockout. The shimmering reds, whites, and blues, it's practically the fish equivalent of a fireworks show on the 4th of July. If we're talking about pure aesthetics, this little swimmer definitely punches way above its weight class, but it's got attitude, and a lot of it. This little guy struts around the tank like it's running its own personal empire. Put it with anything that even looks like it, well, consider that an instant respawn for the other fish. The Koi Betta just doesn't do well in community setups. It's pretty much a lone wolf. This little diva needs warm water. We're talking about 76 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, a stable pH, and enough space to stretch those fancy fins. 5 gallons is the absolute minimum if you don't want to end up with a stressed out, miserable fish. And don't forget the filter, heater, and maybe even some silk plants to keep those delicate fins from getting shredded. If you're thinking about putting it in one of those tiny glass bowls like a living table decoration, forget it. This guy's got needs. And let's not forget the Koi Betta's marble gene. Now, if you play video games, you know all about RNG. Yeah, think about that. You never know what you're gonna get. One day your Betta's rocking red, white, and blue, and the next it looks like someone dipped it in gold. If you're into surprises, it's awesome. But if you want consistency, yeah, not happening. It's like rolling the dice every week. Cool for some, frustrating for others. Then there's the diamond eye condition. It sounds like a sick upgrade, but it's actually a serious nerf. Over time, it can blind your Betta, which is honestly just sad. So yeah, for all the swagger and beauty, the Koi Betta's got some pretty noticeable drawbacks that keep it from climbing any higher on the tier list. So, the Koi Betta? Solid C tier. Looks great, plays solo, high maintenance, and rolls the RNG dice on aesthetics. Here's the Veiltail Betta. Don't let that beautiful flowing aesthetic fool you, because behind those majestic fins lies the spirit of a WWE champion, brother. Always ready to throw down. They're like that guard dog that thinks everyone's a potential threat, always keeping an eye out for anything that might cross the line. Stick your hand in the tank and they'll follow you around, practically side-eyeing you like, you better not try anything funny, pal. Personality, they've got it in spades. They are active, curious, and absolutely not afraid to get scrappy if you bring in the wrong neighbors. They might look elegant, almost royal, when they drift around the tank, but they are definitely not the live and let live type when it comes to territory. Now, on the plus side, they're easy to care for, so you don't need a massive tank or a complicated setup, just enough space to let them stretch those dramatic fins. And a lid, because these Bettas do like a good gulp of air from time to time. Temperature control? Nothing too fancy, just keep it stable and they're good to go. But here's the catch, those big flowy fins. Sure, they look incredible, like they were designed for an underwater fashion show, but they've also got a bit of a liability. Think of it like wearing an extravagant gown to a street fight. It's impressive, but it's definitely not practical. The long fins make them vulnerable, slowing them down and making them a target for nips if there are any tank mates around who aren't feeling the royal vibes. So where does that leave us? The Veiltail Betta is absolutely stunning, but that beauty comes at a cost. They're more of a specialist fish, kept best alone, where they can be the sole star of the show without worrying about their fancy fins getting shredded. For that reason, they're landing solidly in the D tier. Gorgeous to look at, full of personality, but definitely not the easiest fish to keep in a community setting. The Veiltail Betta is like the James Bond of the fish world. Slick, symmetrical, and undeniably charming. What makes it stand out? Well, it's all about that perfect triangular caudal fin. Picture this. Draw a straight line from its nose and you've got equal amounts of fin on either side. Unlike the Veiltail, which looks like it's been caught in a permanent gust of wind, the Veiltail stays elegant and composed. Like it's always ready for a tuxedo moment. And those colors, yeah, they are impressive. We're talking about metallic blues, reds, and combinations that could give the American flag a run for its money. Bold, beautiful, and ready to impress. You're probably thinking, do I need a massive tank for this work of art? Nope, a simple 5-gallon tank's all you need. It's like owning a luxury car that fits in the compact spot. Easy maintenance, no extra drama. The Veiltail is all about that chill lifestyle, thriving in temperatures between 75 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit with slow-moving waters. So keep those currents relaxed. They're used to taking it easy, so no need to throw them into a whirlpool. Feed them quality carnivore food like bloodworms or brine shrimp, and they'll be living their best life. It's kind of like feeding a celebrity. They like the gourmet stuff, but without the attitude. So where does the Delta tail land on this tier list? Let's be real, it's a solid B tier. They're not exactly the Halfmoon Betta, which is like a red carpet superstar of the Betta world. But hey, they hold their own. The Delta tail's got looks, it's hardy, and it's easy to care for. The kind of fish you're happy to have around. Low drama, high style, and definitely not gonna disappoint. Again, solid B tier, but the kind that'll make you proud you picked it. Like the dependable friend who's always down for a good time without stealing the spotlight. The Dumbo Betta's like that one friend who shows up to a pool party in a full tux. They look amazing, but they're not exactly built for swimming. These fish are undeniably beautiful with their oversized, flowing fins that resemble a tiny aquatic angel. Those big elephant ear fins make them stand out in any tank, but they're also a massive disadvantage. Picture trying to swim with 2 dinner plates strapped to your arms. That's the daily life of a Dumbo Betta. The sheer weight and drag of those fins means that they're getting from one side of the tank to the other in a workout. In the wild, this kind of inefficiency would spell disaster. It's like wearing a parachute when you're trying to sprint. In captivity, they're not much better off. Every flick of those gorgeous fins takes effort, and while they look majestic doing it, you can't help but feel like they're fighting an uphill battle every day. Now, don't get me wrong, Dumbo Bettas are heart-meltingly adorable. If you're all about aesthetics and can provide a perfectly controlled low-flow environment, they're a lovely addition. But let's be real, we're ranking these fish on practicality, viability, and quality of life. And the Dumbo Betta is severely lacking in all of those categories. It's like buying a sports car with no engine. Sure, looks great in the driveway, but it's not going anywhere fast. So where do I place the Dumbo Betta? Well, in terms of pure looks, easy A tier, but when you factor in their struggle to thrive, they drop all the way down to F. Gorgeous to look at, yes, but at what cost? Sometimes you gotta look beyond the beauty and ask, is this fish really built to live its best life? Unfortunately for them, the answer here is a resounding no. Here's a cool looking Betta. These dragon scale breeds didn't just appear out of nowhere, they are the result of some serious selective breeding. Picture a wild Betta Mahakai crossed with a Betta splendens, and bam! You got the dragon scale Betta. Flaunting those shiny metallic scales that breeders all over Thailand and Asia absolutely went nuts for. And honestly, can you blame them? These fish look like they're draped in medieval armor ready to joust or strut down the red carpet. But just like that one friend who's all about appearances, dragon scale Bettas come with some complications. Sure, they're pretty, but they need their own little kingdom, at least a 5-gallon tank complete with plants and warm water where they can reign supreme. Set it up right and they'll act like they own the place, and let's be real, they do. These guys are divas through and through, but let's get to the downsides because you knew there had to be one. All that shiny metallic beauty comes at a cost, diamond eye. It's a condition where their scales literally grow over their eyes, leaving them blind, and it's not rare either. It's common enough that several Betta YouTubers are out here waving red flags telling folks not to buy them. And honestly, I'm with them. Yes, you could technically learn how to remove the overgrown scale, but unless you're ready to become an amateur fish surgeon, that's a lot of stress for both you and the fish. So supporting this kind of breeding practice, not for me, no thanks. Where do they fall in the tier list? E tier. They're undeniably gorgeous, like S tier gorgeous, but they're saddled with way too much baggage. If you're okay with potentially needing to perform fishy eye surgery, then go for it. But for most of us, these divas are not worth the hassle. Stunning but impractical. E tier, and that's final. If you want a fish that's all beauty without the attitude problem, meet the female Betta. They're like the chilled out cousin of the flashy male Betta, but less drama, more harmony. You won't catch them turning your tank into an underwater soap opera. Instead, they're just vibing, fitting in perfectly in a community setting without all the aggression you get from the males. Okay, so maybe they don't have those long, flowy fins and they're not busy building bubble nests like their show-off male counterparts, but guess what? That just means they're not wasting their time flexing or picking fights. Female Bettas are here for the fun, not the theatrics. And don't even get me started on their glow-up. Back in the day, female Bettas used to be pretty plain, but now they're rocking reds, blues, purples, you name it. They've got the color without the chaos, and honestly, that is a win. They still have that cute stubby body and that egg spot that's like their little badge of calmness. They might not have those over-the-top ventral fins, but who cares when you got charm for days? It's like the easygoing friend who naturally is just cool. They never try hard and they still get all the compliments. Female Bettas are an easy A tier for me. They've got the beauty, they've got the chill, and they're perfect for a community tank. No stress, no mess. Just vibrant color and peaceful vibes, baby. If you're looking for a betta that brings all the looks but none of the drama, these ladies are the real MVPs. A tier without a doubt. The Plakat Betta is not your typical pretty boy. It's not one of those bettas with long, flowing fins that look like they're competing in some kind of underwater beauty pageant. Nope. The Plakat Betta is more like that scrappy, no-nonsense brawler that's ready to throw down at a moment's notice. Think of them as the featherweight champ of the betta world. Compact, muscular, and always down for action. The name Plakat actually comes from Thailand, where it means biting fish, and believe me, they live up to that name. These guys have been bred for centuries for fish fights in Southeast Asia, and they're basically the OG gladiators of your aquarium. Short fins mean less drag, making them swift and agile, like they were built for speed, not drama. Imagine that one kid in dodgeball who never seems to get hit, always darting, always moving. That's the Plakat Betta for you, evading attacks and staying a step ahead of the game. In terms of personality, let's just say they're not the most sociable. Like the guy at the gym who's always shadowboxing in the corner, focused, intense, and not really here to make friends. With the highest aggression potential among bettas, these little dudes have some serious attitude, but what they lack in friendliness, they more than make up for in pure energy. Unlike some of the long-finned bettas that like to lounge at the bottom of the tank, Plakats are always on the move, patrolling their territory like they're the boss. They don't slow down as they age either. These guys stay active, cruising around as if they're training for their next match. Are they the most stunning betta you can buy? Well, it depends on your taste. They don't have the flowing elegance of long-fin varieties, but they've got a rugged charm. Sort of rough around the edges appeal that's hard not to respect. It's like comparing a classic muscle car to a luxury sedan. Sure, one's all about sleek lines and luxury, but the other is raw power and grit. And let's not forget, some Plakats are absolutely gorgeous. Breeders have worked their magic to create some real showstoppers here. So if you're into a betta that's not afraid to get its fins dirty but still look good doing it, the Plakat is the one. I'm placing these guys in A tier. They're hardy, energetic, and they've got that scrappy underdog vibe that's hard not to root for. Sure, they come with a side of aggression, but if you're ready for it, they're a blast to keep. Now, the giant betta is exactly what it says on the tin. It's your standard betta, just supersized. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's just a regular fish with a mild growth spurt. These giants can hit up to 6 inches long, and trust me, for a betta, that's big. Compared to your typical betta, this guy's like the heavyweight champion of the tank. They've got all the flair of your standard betta, those bright colors, flowing fins, but packed into a bigger frame that demands a bit more space. Giant bettas aren't just about size though. They've got personality to match. If you think a regular betta has an attitude, just wait till you see this guy flaring at his reflection. It's kind of like watching a small dog barking at a much bigger shadow. Plus, they're gonna need more food. They might be bigger, but they're still bettas at heart with all the sass and stubbornness you'd expect. For the tier list, I'm putting the giant betta as a solid E tier. It's got the looks and the personality, but with the extra care and space, it's not the easiest fit for every tank. Beautiful? Absolutely. Practical for beginners? Not so much. Ooh, here's one you've been waiting for, the Halfmoon Plakat Betta. Honestly, there's only one fish I can see in S tier, a real showstopper in the tank. The Halfmoon Plakat Betta, or as the hobby calls them, the HMPK. Now, this isn't your run-of-the-mill betta fish. These beauties are a combination of sleek elegance and a bit of that classic betta attitude. The Halfmoon Plakat Betta has a shorter fin style compared to its long fin relatives, which make it a little more agile and ready to rumble. But what makes this fish special is that they've got the perfect balance of looks and hardiness. They have enough fancy in the fins department to look amazing and have shorter fins so they can still swim around and be part of a community tank. HMPK still have the Plakat aggression, which means you can't just toss them into a tank and expect harmony. Be careful in your tank mate selection, something I cover in a separate card you can view at the top of the screen. HMPKs earned their S tier status. Best all-around betta fish you can buy today, and it's not even a contest. Next up is the Alien Betta. If you've been in the hobby for a while, you probably heard folks throw around this name like it's just another wild betta variety. But let me tell you, there's a lot more to this story. Let's dive into why this hybrid gets a spot on our list. First off, the Alien Betta is a bit of a mystery, and it's no wonder people get it mixed up with wild bettas. They've got that iridescent, wild, spooky look. Copper, green, blue, and gray tones that make you feel like you got a piece of another galaxy right in your tank. But let's get one thing straight. Alien bettas aren't exactly wild, they're hybrids created through selective breeding of wild betta species. But not something you'd find naturally hanging out in the jungle stream. No, these guys are more like the Frankensteins of the betta world, crafted for looks with a few quirks thrown in. Now, they are flashy, no doubt. Those iridescent scales are thick and they glimmer like a disco ball even when your tank lights aren't on full blast. But here's the catch. That extra thickness and iridescence isn't something you'll see in your average wild betta. Wild bettas tend to lose their shine when they're stressed out or not feeling their best, but not the alien betta. It keeps the bling no matter what. Sounds great, right? Well, maybe not entirely. See, the alien betta has what I like to call pretty fish syndrome. It looks stunning, but it can be a high maintenance fish, prone to genetic defects, deformities, and honestly, they're not the hardiest fish around. They're showstoppers for sure. But if you're new to the hobby and you think you're getting a wild type betta with a strong immune system, well, you're in for a bit of a rude awakening. So, the alien betta scores a B tier. It's got that alien allure, it's gorgeous, but unless you're ready to put in some effort, it'll be more of a hassle than a highlight. This beauty's got a long flowing tail that drifts behind it like a wedding veil, and it comes in more colors than a 4th of July fireworks show. We're talking about red, blue, yellow, green, you name it, there's a Veiltail Betta out there sporting it. These little guys usually grow up to about 2.5 inches, which means they're the perfect size for adding some serious flair to your tank without taking up too much space. These bettas are known for being friendly and pretty curious. Mine's always wiggling around like it's trying to catch a better look at what I'm doing. Probably wondering if I've got more food. And speaking of care, the Veiltail Betta isn't a high maintenance guest. They're hardy, healthy, and can stick around for long term if you care for them right. They need clean water and a good environment just like any other fish. Give them that and they'll reward you with beauty and charm that'll keep your tank looking top notch. For me, the Veiltail Betta sits in a solid A tier. Beautiful? Absolutely. A showstopper? For sure. It's also one of the cheapest and most common bettas that you can find at your fish store. While the full moon betta's got style for days, it's still more diva than dynamo. It's got all the aggression of a betta without much to show in terms of utility. It'll flaunt those tails, try to establish dominance, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't have the strength or grit to back it up. And don't even get me started on maintenance. These double tails need pristine water conditions and calm waters to keep from tearing or getting infected. So if you're not ready to play full-time caretaker, this one might not be for you. Bottom line, the full moon betta is like that flashy sports car you bought on a whim. It looks great, it turns heads, but it's high maintenance and it's definitely not always practical. That's why it's chilling in the D tier. Want flashy and cool looking? This is the betta, the Crowntail. They're flashy. They've got those long, intricate rays that make them look like they're always ready for a ball. But that crown comes at a cost. Those extended rays are pretty fragile and they can tear or catch on things in your tank, like trying to keep a classic car on the road. Looks great when it's in good shape, but it's a maintenance headache. Plus, that fin structure doesn't help them swim all that well either, making them slower than other betta types. And you know what happens when you're slow? Yeah, you get stressed out a lot easier, and that's not good for anybody. Now let's break down the varieties. You've got your single ray, double ray, triple ray, cross ray, and random ray crowntails. The single ray crowntail is the most common. You'll find it at every pet store, and it's what most people think of when they picture a crowntail. It's kind of like the entry level model. Then there's the cross ray, also known as the king crowntail, and I'll give it to you. That one's got some serious style points, especially the black venom variant. But as you might know, style only gets you so far when you're dealing with an aggressive fish that struggles to swim efficiently. Crowntails are like that beautiful and practical sports car. They look amazing in the showroom, but they need extra TLC to keep running well. And let's not forget that they're 100% the product of selective breeding, which makes them prone to health issues. They require a bit more attention to water quality and tank decorations that won't tear those delicate fins. For a beginner aquarist, this can turn into a headache fast. This is a C tier betta for me. I love the way it looks, however that extra care doesn't make this a good choice for a beginner. So tell me, did your favorite betta make the list? Not happy and want to debate? Well, drop your gauntlet in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button to get more videos just like this. Or better yet, check out my tier list playlist for more content like this one. See you next time!